Good morning, 9:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, January 23rd, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. As we take a quick look at XRP's chart, as XRP tried to bust out and break out to this 442 level, it so far hasn't had the steam to get all the way up there. It did get up to the 4337, pretty close to this area we targeted. Hasn't hit it 100% yet, so we'll see if this momentum can continue. Right now, we had a big pull down in the 30-minute candle, but these are normal. These are typical. But we've got to see how much steam XRP has. Unless we break back below this downtrending support line at about 394 now. Actually, if we pull it over here, yeah, about 394. We're still looking good in this area. And until we break out past this broken bull flag that I'm determining that is, for my own personal understanding of what I'm seeing, until we break past through here, we have no chance to get back down to this downtrending resistance at about 48. It's about 488. We got major uptrending resistance right here at about 442 that we've yet to hit. We came up very strong in a 4-hour candle, and now this last 4-hour candle, the last about 60 minutes has been a little bearish, but start of the trading week, got a lot more people in. Maybe some want to take profits from the move up, so we got to pay attention to that. So, I mean, it's crystal clear right now, the pattern production. So we're in between these two major structures. We're either going to get rejected up here, or we're going to continue to reverse back down until we break down, or we're going to push up and push into this ascending triangle pattern now. That's the reality of the situation. One thing I want to share is what's going on this week, and I'm just going to share this. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to share this little recording. We have the U.S. GDP household spending in focus, and that's on Thursday. So I just want everybody to hear this real quick.
Economy week ahead, U.S. GDP, household spending in focus. Business activity surveys from around the world, as well as Canada's monetary policy decision, are on tap. By Brian Mina. January 22nd, 2023, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Tuesday. S&P Global releases January business activity surveys from around the world. The data firm's December surveys showed that demand for goods and services softened across the globe, and that price pressures eased. Wednesday. The Bank of Canada announces its latest monetary policy decision, after it delivered a 0.5 percentage point increase for its main interest rate at its previous meeting. The central bank has signaled that it is at or near the end of its tightening campaign, with Canada's economy showing signs of slowing growth and easing inflation. Thursday. To hear the full story, subscribe or...
So just a quick rundown of what's coming up this week. A little bit in the U.S., a little bit outside. And now let's just take a quick look at a very volatile crypto market right now. We got Bitcoin up about 2 points, well, depending on which chart you're looking at. If we look at this one, we're up about 15. We still haven't broke over this downtrending resistance. That's a trend line from October of 2021. It's our major resistance we've got to break over to push out to that 25 or 26,000 level possibly. But we've been stuck here in consolidation since January 20th. So this is our third day of consolidation now. If we can break up out of here, the next major structure, as we've been talking about, is up here at about 25K. If we can't break up out of here and this ends up being a reversal, the next major area would be around that 20,995. I know we have areas in between, but this is just me if we were to lose this. Obviously, we have 22,200 area, but other than that, if we lose this 22,200 or wherever you decide to put this, it's 222 and change. We would come all the way back down here to almost 21K, 20,965, 995, depending on how you look at it. So that's the importance of breaking out of this structure. Total crypto market cap is in the exact same spot as Bitcoin. Every time we try to break above this major trend line, we push back down. It's been the same way since the 20th of January. And we need to stay above this 1 trillion. It's that simple. We get above there, we start pushing out. We've got 1.13 trillion that's within range. 1.139. If we can't break up above this, though, we're stuck within this trading range, and it's been like this. This is the third day now that we've been consolidating around this level. So we're looking for a spike out of here, but every time we push out, we get a nice red candle here as well. So we're going to see what happens here, because that's been a major resistance line as well. If we take a look, the DXY is pushing up here a little bit, pretty hard right now, actually, and that's what's causing crypto to maybe come down just a tad. And we've talked about this. I don't know if they're ready to just let the US dollar go to die. You know, it's going to make things a lot harder if our dollar looks weak, if the greenback's not looking like it's in control. So can we break out above this downtrending resistance? We talked about this 102.50 being a very key level. And if we can get past that, we can maybe break up to 102.94 and ultimately try to push out and try to retest this 103.75 area. That's what we're looking at. Is this going to be some kind of down channel that reverses out of here? It oftentimes does, and we can actually take a look at what's transpiring now. Got something like this going on now, which makes it very interesting, because you can get reversals out of patterns like this. You really can. But it's also how you define it. I think it's something like this. So if we're looking at the pattern, we're looking to break the downtrending resistance line again right up here at about 102.5 before we break this downtrending support at about 101.57, because then you come down to this 101.187, and then ultimately you cannot lose 100.34. Otherwise, it's a very, very quick drop back down to the 96 or 95.08 level. So that's what I'm looking at for there for the DXY. You got the US 10-year government bond up 0.95%. You've got gold and silver under a bit of pressure this morning. Gold's down 13 bucks an ounce. Silver's down 4.79%. Remember what I talked about gold and silver? I talked about how I wasn't convinced that it was just going to break up out of here. Silver's proven what I was talking about. Trying to hunt this 22.179 to see if we're even ready to stay in this range, or we continue falling, in about 20 bucks is the next big range. So that's a big move down today for silver. I anticipate something like this possibly happening for gold as well. I just don't think it's ready to run unabated. I really don't. Not saying it can't, but it just doesn't seem like it's just going to go without any issues. There's just too much going on in the broader market, and especially if the DXY gets ready to pump, you're going to have a little pressure on the golds and silver and bullion markets, because it runs opposite of the US dollar. And the reason for that is gold and silver might not necessarily be dropping as much as it looks, but when the US dollar goes up, right now it's up 0.21%, it devalues the price of precious metals. And when the dollar goes down, the price of precious metals goes up. Just because silver's down 4% or 5% almost today in the USA, that doesn't mean it's not pumping around the rest of the world or in other sectors or other countries. It's just in the US right now, the gold and silver's under some pressure, copper's under some pressure, platinum. And that also means that commodities are under pressure. Crude oil's up 0.33%, and PBR is up 3.05%. But the gold-silver ratio is what I'm most impressed with. That's up to 83.97. Forget the price of silver or gold. That ratio is getting back in our favor. You can buy right now, and every time you buy 84 ounces of silver, when it goes down to 40 to 1 again, you can trade your 40 ounces of silver, keep 44 ounces, and you basically got gold for half price. That's called silver stacking, and we're going to talk a lot about that, and I've talked a lot about that. So pay attention to that. And then I wanted to take a look real quick at Quant. I know we haven't looked at Quant in quite some time, but I know there's some people in my audience that really do like Quant. And it's funny, this pattern is still, if you run this overextension, it's still playing this pattern out. It broke out above it right now, finally. And we can actually line this up a little bit so you can see the current formation. But you're trying to stay over this area. You see X marks the spot, so it very well could be trending in that area. And then we can do it just a tiny bit better. I always like doing this. And everybody, I like, sometimes people are like, oh, that's so basic to write a pattern formation. Like, oh, it's basic. But it also works. Because then you can get the trendsetters. So this is what I'm looking at. I know it looks basic for the downtrending resistance, but all I'm looking for is Quant to break out of this $145 level. That's your downtrending resistance, and then we can come retest this possible cup and handle here at about 166. So that would be my next major level if we can break out of this for Quant. I actually like that a lot for the next major level at 167. And then if we can't break this downtrending resistance, it's a bear flag formation right here. You'd come back down here to approximately 110. So that's what you're looking at for Quant. And then if you broke down, obviously there's lower levels to be hit very quickly. But that's what we're looking at right now. This is quite the channel that's formed here. So we'll see how that plays out. And then I do want to show XLM and DGB real quick, and then I'll release this, just so you have an update this morning. So XLM, we talked about this breakout pattern. Had to hold this downtrending support, which we have at 00. It's about 0897. We held that. Now we have ambitions to break up to the 099. You can see we pushed right up. I don't do the in-between levels when I don't think they're necessary. So that's how XLM got these numbers here. We broke out here again. And then if you break the 99, you've even got the 10.6 up there. But if you break down, you've got the 8.5 area, and you can see it's very confluent with that area. So we're looking to hold the 8.5 if we lose the 8.95. But right now we're not in jeopardy of that. We're actually rounding the bottom, and it looks like we are trying to hit that 9.9 level. And then with DGB, we've come up to the 109, and we talked about this for the better part of a month. If we could just hold this uptrending support, our next level would be 108, and that's exactly what we've touched. So now we're bouncing between the 108 resistance, the 1019 support, and if we break the 108, that should push us up to the 118 level. But as you can see, it's not all smooth sailing because we have to break this. This is a major area, and we have the 989 underneath, which it showed in the other chart as well. So let's see if we can break over this 108 level and ultimately push the 119 for DGB. Or if this is where DGB is finally starting to top out. Because there is no volume really coming in for DGB, so we have to pay attention to that. So let's just see what happens. Pay attention to the formation today and see if the pattern ends up rejecting or if it can continue out of this area. It's very volatile, and I think it's very important for you to watch these updates and watch them all the way through. If you want to join Tom's Army, if you want to join me on BITGET, MEXI, and or UPHOLD, MEXI and BITGET is for no spot fees on the trades, and UPHOLD's what I trust the most because they're Web3 enabled. They've got their tax info updated for the USA, and they're complying, so that means they're going to be around for the next tax season, and that's what you want. Make sure you're paying your taxes, and hit that like button, turn that bell notification on. Please subscribe to the channel if you've gotten anything out of this, and share this to somebody who hasn't seen it before. Stay blessed, everybody.